Ripples on Deep Water by Orphan Account on AO3. Episode 24. Chapter 23. Natural. First Hero class. Holy shit. Izuku is practically vibrating. It's just that exciting. Toshi snickers, but he pays him no mind. This was too epic to not be excited about. He and Itoshi were wearing the spare self-suits that Majami-sensei had lent Izuku and Mei before, but Izuku still felt out of place. Ingenium's brother, Ida Tensei, was in a full suit of armor. Speaking of Ingenium, he was still a little shocked by what happened to the younger hero. Stain typically only targeted bad heroes. Ingenium was a good one. Who even knew what that man's logic was? It clearly wasn't sane. Aizawa walked around 1A, plus Toshi and Izuku with a predatory glare. From the way the other students were murmuring about why he was there, Izuku had to hazard a guess that Aizawa didn't typically teach heroics. Wait, who was the normal teacher again?
I am here.
Oh, fucking hell. Just like that, his good mood is Thanos-snapped away. Toshi glanced over, and their hands brushed together for 1 second. Izuku panics for a beat, before he reaches out and links their pinkies, face red, as he glances away from his friend. Sue him, it made him feel a little better.
It's not a bad dream, but you have to consider what's realistic.
His other hand tightened to his back, and Itoshi let go of his hand and leaned over Izuku's shoulder to open it and pick through, probably looking for siren call. Didn't stop him from feeling electric from head to toe, though. All Might posed, heroically, in front of class, and Izuku felt his lip curl.
Today, we will be doing 2-on-2 work. You may pick your partners this time.
Toshi raised his hand, and without preamble said,
I have dibs on Zuku.
Izuku flushed, momentarily distracted, and Toshi dumped something into his hands. Hatsume told me that this usually helps you calm down, whatever ass Might is talking about. He said slowly to Izuku, and Izuku blinked, grateful at Toshi. His notebook. He opened to the first page and carefully to lean it over and block it from others' views, and read off the word under Aizawa's sketch. Night-Eye doesn't read the future of every villain to win battles. He mumbled to himself, repeating it both out loud in a soft voice, and turning it over in his mind as he closed the notebook again before tucking it back into his bag. I can do this. He can take his stupid haircut and shove it up his ass. He leveled an absolutely venomous look at All Might, preparing for whatever he could throw. He was not going to let this asshole's words affect him ever again. Shouta heard the kid muttering. He vaguely recognized telling Midoriya something about Night-Eye, but he was repeating it to himself as if it was some kind of prayer. He genuinely had no clue the problem child took his words to heart. Shinsou was watching his friend with a roll of his eyes, glancing over at Shouta. Shouta looks back, impassively.
We're doing a stealth exercise.
Midoriya's head shot up.
Call it hide and seek. I trust you already have your partners. Either find and capture the hiding team, or evade the seeking team to win.
Jiro and Shoji, a deadly matchup in stealth activity, immediately paired up.
Losing teams are to be used as demonstrations when we go over basic martial arts.
Shinsou swore loudly, which conveyed the general mood of the class the moment he said that.
Aizawa-san, isn't that a bit harsh?
And whose class is this?
I don't recall you being assigned as a homeroom.
A pause, and the Midoriya grinned. T. Shouta looked over the class. He had to actually challenge the students, so...
Sero and Kirishima against Kaminari and Ashido. Tokoyami and Asu against Uraraka and Ida. Ojiro and Todoroki against Koda and Aoyama. Mineta and Sato against Hagakure and Yaoyorozu. Jiro and Shoji against Shinsou and Midoriya. There was a shuffling, and then Jiro raised her hand. Sir, no offense, but isn't it a bit unfair to patch Shoji and I against the transfer kids? They're new and all. He smiled, maliciously at Jiro. You're right, Jiro. You two won't stand a chance. Hitoshi was shaking a little when he entered Gym Gamma. He and Zuku were seeking first, and Earlobes and Six-Armed were already hiding. Zuku had given him a spare Mei vision, this one a metallic black as opposed to Zuku's silver and Hatsume's bronze. Third Burton to the left? Zuku breathed. They could hear everything we say. Probably. Got a paper? I know sign. Does that count? Oh, cool. I don't. Like, basic signs they use in the army, but like, nothing else. That works for now. They look around, and as Hitoshi presses the button, the world lit up in heat signatures. One being very obviously on a rooftop nearby. Zuko made a motion, probably meaning stay here, and climbed up as Hitoshi kicked a trash can lid, rummaging through a dumpster to cause a distraction. One didn't need a quirk to hear Shoji's girly squeak as pink ballooned in the air. Shoji has been found. It took a bit longer to find Jiro. She was in a vent, and Hitoshi threw a blue balloon at her. Jiro has been found. Well, time to hide. Their students had their phone hidden in their lap. They waited for the next round, sitting a bit to the side, away from the others. Aizawa and the blonde idiot were by the screens, watching Midoriya and Shinsou hide. Bakugou's been expelled, you say? Yes, they texted back. He was the one with the explosion quirk. Yes. Do you know why? No. What do you think? He won't listen. Get more information. Of course. Their hands tightened on their phone. Jiro, Shoji, seek the transfer kits. One of their classmates cheered. Their lip curled slightly, but his is under a yawn. Shinsou and Midoriya would win easily, somehow, which infuriated them to no end. How were two untrained idiots this good? Well, how were they this good, really? It's not as if they went to a quirk dojo to train once in their life. They regretted very little in life, but perhaps trusting him was their biggest mistake. Hard to believe that, if they ever had crossed paths with him all that time ago, they still wanted to be a hero. They used to be so naive. 1A is incredibly naive, but they'll rip it off that veil for the other students. Everyone deserves to know the truth. Ooh, okay. I see we have a little bit of a spy thing going on. Interesting. Clocking that shit. I got a little sidetracked. Give me a second. I got messaged during I don't know if you guys heard the notification. I hope you didn't. I got messaged from my manager being like, oh, sorry, I'm texting late. It's 11:07 p.m. Why are you texting? Being like, hey, just saw we don't have anyone to cover tomorrow from 2 to 4. Can I change your hours to 2 to 8 tomorrow? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, do I really want to work a 6-hour shift, then a 6-hour shift the day after, and then a 5-hour shift on top of that? Do I? Normally tomorrow my shift is 4 hours. I'm gonna go from a 4-hour shift to a 6-hour shift, which doesn't seem that bad. But mind you, I'm used to working 5-hour shifts, mainly, with tomorrow being my little day. You know, my one day where I only have a 4-hour shift. This is like my small day, my easy go day. And you wanna steal that from me? You wanna steal my little day? Why? Why do you wish to rip this from me? I love my little day. Why are you ripping it from me? Why are you taking it away from me? Why are you killing me? Why? Whatever. I'm gonna say yes. I'm not gonna say yes now. I'm gonna make her panic a little bit. Tomorrow I'll say yes. I'm not gonna message her back at 11:09 p.m. That shit is late. Ain't no way. Business hours are closed. I'm not messaging you back. Sorry, that was a tidbit that didn't need to be discussed here. Sorry, I'm tired. This was a nice little section. I do love that they're being a little more flirtatious. I wonder if they're just gonna stay this with their tiptoeing this whole time. I don't mind that. I really don't mind that. I like the dynamic. At one point it's gonna get annoying and I want them to start, smooching, actually holding hands, actually becoming boyfriend and boyfriend. Like, I need them to actually confess to one another and actually set labels, and not just be tiptoeing and beating around the bush, because at one point you beat around the bush too much and now there's a river around the bush and nobody likes a river around your bush. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I do prefer my bush to be riverless. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anyways, I think this was a really nice chapter. I wonder how the next part is going to be, like, what they do to evade those two. It's like, in my head, it's like really hard to think of what they would do, considering that they both have super good hearing. So, like, what negates this? Like, how does this work? I don't really have much notes. So, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.